Hello, a nice rainy day for this time of year. And also currently we're going to be doing July, August 1979. And July and August, I know for most anglers and most people, it's not their favorite time of year to go outside because of the heat. And yet some of my best experiences have actually been July and August. And I think in some ways it's because from a fishing perspective, it's the time of the year that tests you the most. That, and of course, some people will say the winter, but for me, it was actually the summer. Probably because of my experience with the U.S. Open out west. And this is the issue, and if you look at the cover, it's one of the most incredible places on this planet, Lake Powell. And it's really, really, if you have a bucket list in fishing and you haven't been there, you got to go there. There's no place, no lake in the whole country that I'm aware of anywhere close to it. It's just a sensory overload. For some of you guys that watched Planet of the Apes and some of those, that's where it was shot at, because it was unworldly, and it still is. Even though nowadays it's completely different than when I've been on it, because most of those lakes out west now are a lot lower than they've ever been due to the modern day usage of water and how much they pull out of Lake Powell and Lake Mead now that goes down the Colorado River into theoretically the Pacific Ocean, but it don't really reach the Pacific Ocean anymore. But anyway, that's where we're at. And it's got some, some maps and other things, that we will actually show you in a little bit here more. The Lake Powell Oasis of Bass. And I'm not necessarily recommending that it's a great fishery. It's a good fishery. But the thing about it is that it's, there's nobody there. The only place, there's only like two places you can even access the lake. Where I normally go out of is down by the dam out of Page, Arizona. And it's in the Navajo and in the reservation. This is the kind of stuff you see in it. It's just, it's a very, very clear water. It has multiple bass, largemouth and smallmouth in it. You can see the water line here. That's where the height that it normally is. You see that white line up above. And of course, the most recent lines that it's creating is here. But it's probably not even half full now, which is kind of sad. But still, it's just an incredible place. And you take your bass boat, but if you got time and money, rent a houseboat. And it's a huge lake. Even now, as low as it is, it's several hundred. It's right at 170 miles long when it's full. So you probably can't go up as far as you used to could, but we had actually a tournament there in Lake Powell, and this young fella here won it. It's Gary Klein, and this was his mentor, D. Thomas, and it's just, again, a humongous, beautiful, beautiful body of water. I've been up, one of the areas I love the most, and it's really probably one of the most dangerous areas to go up, it's the Escalante River. And it's about halfway up the lake, right before you get to, the middle part of the lake, and there's only one marina up there, Bullfrog, that you can actually launch, but it's probably 50 miles from where I launched. It's the Escalante River. And what's dangerous about it is not what you will never ever see anywhere else. It is that when you start to run up it, you're running up through solid rock walls on both sides of you. And the reflection off those walls of the water, you can't tell what's water and what's rock. And literally, if you're not paying absolute attention, you can think you're in the Escalante River and you'll run straight into a wall. And it's just that kind of scenery up there. I mean, it's beautiful, and just you get to go up it and you get to see where the Mormons crossed it, lowered a whole big wagon train 1,000 feet into the ridge. This is before the lake was there, so they were lowering it off these sheer walls. Wagons, mules, humans down through this one crack, and then across the river, and then back up the other side. It's called the hole in the wall, is what it's called now. But and they never lost a mule. They lost one wagon, but they never lost a mule, luring them on ropes and stuff down through this hole on the wall. So and their desire, ironically, was the same as mine for going there. It was to get away from humans. And they were actually trying to escape religious persecution because being Mormons, they were one of the smaller religions, and the bigger religions were out to put them out of business. But so that's what they did. But it's the only place, too. I'll never forget my first time on the lake. I was by myself. I had to go. People had told me about it. It wasn't a tournament. And I was the only person on the lake that I saw, literally. And I was back in this one canyon, and I was fishing again, I'm looking up vertical walls that go 1,000 feet, And I'm looking up and I'm fishing, and all of a sudden I hear an eagle. And I look up, and it was a golden eagle. I'd never seen a golden eagle. I've seen bald eagles, but I'd never seen a golden eagle. And I just got mesmerized by watching it fly and make its, sound every once in a while. And I just finally sat down in my boat, put my rod down, and the eagle left, but it was so quiet, I kept hearing something. And it was like my depth finder, so I turned my depth finder off. I eventually turned off anything that would make sound coming from my boat. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking, and it's the most complete silence I've ever been around in my whole life, until I heard something else. And it was this really low, like thump sound. Just thump, thump, thump. And I was listening to my heart. And I went, oh, God, this is incredible. I couldn't believe it at first. And I was sitting on a mirror glass of water. And there was no wind, there was no waves slapping up against the water, and I'm just floating in space. And I can hear that in my heart. And it almost took me to tears, because I'd never experienced that kind of experience in my whole life. And then, of course, the jet goes over. But anyway, it's one of the, and I was out there in August, in July and August, so it was warm. And this showed, again, Gary Klein winning the tournament. And eventually we did have a BASS tournament out there. And then we went to Lake Gaston, and Ray was always I don't know how many of you will know him, but Ray called him one of the cough drop brothers. Used to be cough drops with two brothers that looked just like that with long beards on them. And he always nicknamed, Ray had this habit of nicknaming people things that he thought, I guess he figured, well, you were remembering by this. And Paul Elias won the tournament at Lake Gaston, and he was, nicknamed the Cough Drop Brothers. And of course, Bo Dowden had won a medal running in the Olympics, which never happened, but that Ray always introduced him that way. So.
Was that the first time you met Paul Elias?
Yeah, I met him because he actually won. I remember in 1977 at Percy Priest, I introduced a buzzbait to the fishing world and popularized it. And Paul ended up winning Lake Gaston on that buzzbait, and I went up and asked him what brand he was fishing. And that's kind of the way I first met him. And Paul really was known more for crankbait fishing. any other style, but he had won this tournament fishing a buzzbait. So, yeah, we got to know each other for a long, long time. And I kind of miss him. He's one of the, I don't know if he's still fishing MLFs or not. But that's basically, July, August 1979. And again, it's the hottest time of year you can fish. I don't care where you're at. And that's why I nicknamed the U.S. Open, which was never on Powell, but it was on the next lake down, Lake Mead, the Iditarod of bass fishing, because it showed you who you really were. You couldn't lie to that lake or to that type of heat and say, hey, I can handle it. You had to handle it. So, and you had to excel, and it became a huge advantage for those few of us that really trained ourselves to fish in that kind of condition. So it'll always be special to me. July, August, 1979.